I just want to talk. Usually I have a book, but today we are with my thoughts. So what's prompting today's thinking is specifically geist, Hegel, spirit. Because I was on the train today and then there were these three women. I wrote down what they said. They were like missionaries, I think, Christian missionaries. But the message that they were expressing was, these are just some things verbatim that she said. Suicide is on the rise. We see that many things are happening out of our control, yet we want control. And then immediately, because this is New York City subway, there was some guy that was begging for money. Sorry, I got distracted. The baby chasing pigeon. So cute. But yeah, so immediately juxtapositioning her, or just like in the middle of this, a dude was saying like, anyone got a homie for something to eat, breakfast or lunch? And, in the midst of him begging for food, literally, she's also saying, we don't see people loving one another anymore. We look down at them. And it just got me thinking about Kierkegaard and his take on religion. Crazy transition, but hear me out. Religion these days, like in today's age, feels so political. I mean, religion has always been political. Everything is political. But what I want to get at is the way Kierkegaard wrote about religion in context to love. Nietzsche was like, there is no God. But to me, Kierkegaard was like, there is a God. But you just have to love so much to see that. I think. I need to do a bit more reading into it, but that's how I kind of see, any form of religion. And when this lady was expressing these values, I felt her geist, I felt her spirit, mind, body, soul, preaching something that was honestly very simplistic about the current state of, I think, the world right now. There's war, there's blood, and yet we are so numb to it all. Why have we gone to this point where we look at the news, we look at media in any form, and you just have to tap out and then do your social life's thing. You play the Matrix, and then you're like, you see this. And then you start to really question what you're doing with your life. Not in last episode I was like, existentialism is like, oh, what am I doing with myself? But no, it's like, what am I doing with myself in context to the world I'm in? I think Simone Weil is a really cool philosopher that grounds this. Her book, The Need for Roots, is honestly so crucial to how we think about the problems in today's society. The need for roots, going back to roots, first principles thinking, like how do you tackle a problem by tackling at its core, bottoms up. A lot of society, human society, and just corporate problem solving is about top-down approaches. Government bureaucracy is all from like, you have your elites, and then you have the people in charge, and then they make amends, regulation, the legal system, trying to figure out ways to change a society when, Ruha Benjamin has this book called Viral Justice, where change happens at the minute, micro level, bottoms up approach. Anyways, now I'm just throwing names, but like the core concept and the core thing I'm thinking about post taste is just culture, authenticity. What does it mean to be real again? I mean, right now I'm in Chinatown. This is like the city I grew up in. And it doesn't feel the same. Like this park, Columbus Park, there used to be so much more play, and now it's just performance play. Even at Sewer Park, I notice, like, you have the elders that play the ping pong balls, but then who's watching on the sidelines? Transplants. And then, you record all that shit, and then it goes on TikTok, it goes viral, and then new culture, new communities come. And obviously every community, every neighborhood endures change, experiences change, but it's just difficult to see ethnic enclaves become spaces where your own ethnic people no longer occupy. Look at that child. So cute. But yeah, when your own people now are fleeing to find homes elsewhere. But I say all this not because it's a story of like, what do we do then? Duh, it's a problem that's gonna take a long time. There are no band-aid solutions to these issues. But, it's time to actually take accountability and responsibility for displacement. What does that look like? I don't know, I'm figuring it out. But I think it starts with like recognizing that, one, and then two, having more intention with yourself in relation to the communities you join. And to join a community, I've been also thinking about like what does it mean to be accessible, because a lot of communities, there is this sense of like openness, but back in the day, back when, in the 80s particularly, like you worked your way to be accepted into a community. Obviously not everything has its goods, everything has its like cons, but there was a sense of hard work that you felt with your hands. It's like hand hard work, craft. Intelligence to me is not just brain and books. Today, there's no book that I'm thinking about, because I'm really just thinking about like life as I'm experiencing it. Bye, Penelope. There's a kid next to me. So cute. Bye. Bye-bye. Yeah. Like, I think really the point of my monologue today is just to think about life more holistically. Intelligence more holistically. Curiosity more holistically. Because at the end of the day, I think the beauty of enjoying your life, being yourself, getting over this crisis of existentialism where you're losing your purpose, is about just living in the present. So simple, right? And it's not like a thing where, you hear this and then suddenly my life is transformed. Like, no, that's not it either. It's just you take it day by day. Like how a baby learns how to climb. Like when you learn how to walk. There's a psychological concept. There's 4 steps of learning. I remember unconscious incompetence, where kind of like a beginner, you're like, what am I doing? You don't even know, and it's like you're not good at it. And then the second step is conscious incompetence, which is more like it's the wrong analysis of things. You know, you're now a beginner. Your beginner mindset, you're aware of what's wrong, but you still don't really know the rules, don't really know the mechanisms. And then there is conscious competence, which is now, okay, you're 3/4 there. You're at the right analysis. You're thinking about it and you know what you're doing, which is good. But to get to that like God tier, that S tier mode of work is unconscious competence. Like when you're riding a bike and your brain just like goes, like your autopilot, but your autopilot and it's freaking, what's the word? Like you just like, boom, like your body knows. You know, the body keeps score. But anyways, this was more so interesting to me because I'm like, yeah, that's so true in a lot of like how I've been viewing learning again. How do we get to that unconscious competence with life? You know, it's so much more than just reading, absorbing school. It's so much more than school. You know, why is it that the bicycle, the wheel has changed into selfless driving cars, yet learning, we're still in a classroom, you know? And with AI right now, AI is designed to displace labor, mind you. So what does it actually mean to be human? Outside of work, you know, outside of labor, you know, alienation of labor. When you really overdo it, you get this burnout, you get this feeling of loss. But, you know, nothing is doomsday forever. I'm the believer that things will change for the better. So yeah, thank you to everyone who has commented on the last video. I love the discussion that is going on, and thank you to all the new recommendations. Someone mentioned David Hume, Love. I remember he was very popular it was humanistic sequence in a philosophy curriculum I did in university. Yeah, fascinating recommendations. Please send more and just keep talking. I really love the discussion that's going on. It's like Reddit but YouTube style, you know, a comment style salon where, you know, get the people talking, because the people have a lot to say. It shouldn't just be about experts. Everyone is an expert in their own world. It's just about backing up your argument, you know, like dialectic, didactic, anyways. But you know, until next time, some new ideas ahead. I have some new thoughts on some things to discuss.